I did not know that this would happen, like the way that things went, that I was going to be abused, that I was going to be manipulated. I did not know all those things. I would have never gone into a relationship. Like if I could have like instant like replay and they could show me everything, like I wouldn't have chose that. It's not something I would have chose. But it's hard to be accused of knowing when you
Yeah,
really didn't know, you know.
yeah. I can relate to that a little bit because, and I'm sure we've all heard it before, where people in our lives, you should have known better, or, how you were raised, you shouldn't have gone to that based on how you were raised. You knew better. We hear it all the time. Like, why would you do something like that? But, in that moment, in that time, like, there is no knowing, it's just, we're just in that moment living how we need to live. Welcome back to the Encouragement Kit. I'm Sarah Catherine. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited today because it is a guest episode, my first guest episode that I've been trying to do for a long, long time. I'm so grateful as I've been so busy with my life, but here we are. I'm really excited. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss out on new content of mine. You guys know I am nervous when I get on the camera for the most part, but as I've been encouraging and uplifting you, I've gotten more comfortable. And I'm so grateful. And so today being my first guest episode, I'm a little bit nervous, so bear with me, but I'm really excited to dive right in and jump right in, even though I have the nerves going on, because today's topic is going to be very sensitive. I will let you guys know that. So if anything is uncomfortable, feel free to just stop listening. But just to give you that information, it's sensitive, but it is very important and it needs to be talked about. You guys know on my channel, I'm all about healing, encouraging, and reassuring and bringing the real, raw truth to you. I keep it real, I keep it raw, I keep it honest on my channel. So today's topic is going to be domestic violence. And I have my first guest. Stacy Binder. She is a child abuse and domestic abuse survivor. She is a single mom like myself, and she is a writer. Stacy has experienced abuse on all levels: emotional, psychological, mental, financial, and physical. She shares her story and truths of what she has endured in hopes to help others. And a quick disclaimer, I will speak for myself, and once Stacy comes in, I will let her share as well. But my channel is not a place to seek medical advice or therapy of any kind. So if you need professional support, please seek your doctor and or therapist to get the proper support that you need. My channel is all experience based. So I just wanted to let you guys know that disclaimer as well. And I think that was all I wanted to share, but we're going to hop right in. Today, we're going to just kind of dive deep in the beginning. So we might have to do a part two. So stay tuned for that. If so, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm so grateful that Stacy is here today. And quickly, I don't want to forget this. How did I meet Stacy? When you're on Instagram and you see that post or that reel and it resonates with you, that's what happened to me. I've been dealing and struggling with a lot, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it's like it's speaking to me. And so I was just like, I have to connect with her. And so she is here today. I'm so grateful for her time. And I'm so glad to know her and just be encouraged by her. So without further ado, Stacy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm not used to doing any interviews. This is my
Oh,
first
no,
one.
no
So,
worries. Um, yeah,
this,
just yeah, you can say your name and you know, a little bit about yourself, just to start, and then we'll
oh
get into.
gosh, this is just like when I was in college and I got up there and at the podium and I wasn't able to speak, but now I am able to speak. Uh,
That's awesome.
and I don't feel like I'm that same person, which is a very good thing. Um, that is something that I wasn't able to work through back 20 years ago. So, and I was asked the same question. It takes me right back. Tell me about yourself. That's
Yeah.
how, and that's exactly how I met my ex-husband. Um,
Wow.
so
Okay.
it does take me back because he saw the qualities in me that were very shy, very vulnerable. Like I wasn't, he knew he could manipulate that. I wasn't the typical girl, I guess, that he sees. He's like, target. That that's
Hmm.
the one I can get. And
Wow.
anyway, that does take me back and takes us right into what we're speaking about.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was thank you. And I'm really excited to and I'm not excited as in happy, but I want to reveal what, you know, happens every day. And
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like the people that you think or automatically know, but it's the quiet manipulation, deceptive, that you would never guess that domestic violence is happening. And this
No,
topic needs to be discussed. And so let's jump right in. Thank you for introducing yourself and everything. Um, when did the domestic violence begin with your ex-husband? If you
it
can
was
kind of take us back a little bit with that.
it was 3 years into our dating, and we had gotten married and pregnant, and that's when it started. Uh, just a whole bunch of stuff. Specifically, like, should I give an example? I'm trying to think
Yes,
of.
yeah, you can. Like any example of and it might go into our, you know, the next question that I have, like the signs. Like I don't know if on your first date, if he said something that just seemed a little off, or if it was like into the marriage, you know, after you had your baby, if he said something or did something that you were kind of like questioning, but you know how, you know, you're like,
Because I was so young, I had no idea. I
mm,
really didn't have like the red flag thing that we all talk about now. That wasn't in my head. What was in my head was he's he's loving me. He's accepting me. He's telling me I'm pretty. He's making me feel special. And that's all that I saw. That's all that I felt. So I wasn't looking for any red flags, but there definitely was. But I just, you just brush that off, you just put that to the side because you're, in my case, I don't want to say you, but like in my case, like I was looking for the feeling that I never got when I was growing up.
gotcha.
And
Yeah.
so he provided that, and everything else was just like I had blinders on. It was like just I'm seeing the good parts and I'm just brushing aside the bad parts, you know.
Yeah.
In my
Wow.
case, yeah.
That is so interesting. I mean, as I'm sitting here listening, I can relate a little bit with from my ex-husband as well. So
Yeah.
I get it, you know, where we're just kind of going about things. And I know as I self heal and self evaluate, I have been seeking validation for years, what I didn't get growing up and not having a dad in my life, really. And then my parents getting a divorce, you know. I feel like we don't think those things, you know, affect us when we are, I don't know, connecting with our potential partners. You know, the validation and wanting to be loved and appreciated and all of
Yeah,
that.
I
So,
should have been I should have been looking for a lot of different things that I wasn't looking for because I didn't have the knowledge of anything that was going on. I thought love was just like love. That's not the definition of what love was actually. It's just when I after everything and like in the aftermath and now to be able to speak about it, I look back and I say like, "Oh my god, how did I not know all of this information?"
Yeah.
There's so much that you need to teach young adults, kids, you need to teach them. I
Yeah.
wasn't taught. Like I was not taught. I was taught to leave the house, go off and do whatever it is without any guidance, without any knowing. It was just like go, go, go. Uh, and that's how I felt growing up. So it did have like a lot to do with who I met. And I feel like my ex-husband, he was the consequence of my childhood.
Wow. Wow. Oh man. Um, wow. That's
I
interesting.
wasn't going to meet somebody else who was healthy. I was on the path to meet somebody who was going to be toxic. And like this is said after the fact, not that I knew this, because I've been accused by members of my family that I knew this is who he was. No, I did not know. Whether they like to believe that or not, I did not know.
Yeah.
I did not know that this would happen, like the way that things went, that I was going to be abused, that I was going to be manipulated. I did not know all those things. I would have never gone into a relationship. Like if I could have an instant like replay and they could show me everything, like I wouldn't have chose that. It's not something I would have chose. But it's hard to be accused of knowing when you
Yeah.
really didn't know.
Yeah. I can relate to that a little bit because, and I'm sure we've all heard it before, where people in our lives, you should have known better, or, how you were raised, you shouldn't have gone to that based on how you were raised. You knew better. We hear it all the time. Like, why would you do something like that? But, in that moment, in that time, like, there is no knowing, it's just, we're just in that moment living how we need to live. It's interesting. And it makes me think of this next question. With all of that being said, what made you keep going back to him if, um, you know, he was,
The truth is like I didn't think I know that this again like sounds bad, but it's just the truth. Like I didn't think that I would be loved by anybody else. And I thought that what we had was like it. Like I wasn't going to get anything else. Like I wasn't going to be able to be feel special with anybody else. Like was anyone else going to love me like he did, you know? I know it really sounds like because people will say to me, "Oh, but you're so smart and you're so pretty and you're so this. Like, why would you even think that?" And I'm like, because what I look like or how I sound or how smart you think I am doesn't match how my mind is. And
yeah,
how I was abused growing up told me that I would never be loved, that I would never be wanted. So when somebody loved me and wanted me, I had to hold on. Like my mind was like, you need to hold on to this. Hold on as tight, as hard as possible, because this isn't going to happen again. And
wow,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, as you're speaking, I feel like I can relate on different levels. Um, and so, yeah, this is quite interesting. I'm learning, you know, and with you talking about your childhood, was your childhood violent? Um,
very, very violent.
and how was it violent? Was it like physical or emotional, mental, like all the
It
things?
was everything. It was very, very physically violent. It was
Wow.
also psychologically very painful. I mean, I write about all this. It's so hard to talk about because again, it then starts making me feel like, and I know I don't need to feel guilty about discussing what happened because it's not something that I did, but it almost sounds like, how could you talk bad about your mother? How could you talk bad about your father? How could you talk bad? I'm not talking bad. I'm
Yeah, you're sharing your truth and your
I'm just
story,
saying
your
what
voice.
I'm just saying what happened wasn't because I want to talk bad. It's just what happened. And yes, I am putting it out there, but I mean, it was just very, very violent.
Yeah.
The things that were said to me, I don't know if I want to say them, all of them,
Yeah, I
but
mean, yeah, you don't have to, whatever, you don't have to say anything. I definitely don't want this to be uncomfortable or anything. Um, but yeah, and that's why I'm so grateful that I'm doing this mission in this channel and just all the things because I feel like, and I'm learning this, I'm still learning this. If we don't speak, nothing is released, and we have to release
I
it.
know. I know. It
And
doesn't really do
releasing
it
comes the
justice.
healing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sometimes it doesn't do it justice, just like writing. And I know, like, I really
Yeah.
need to get used to getting on camera and speaking. And it's so hard for me because I still have that part of me that is so shy inside. Like, this is very difficult for me to do this, but I want to do this because I
Yeah.
know it's going to help me.
Yes.
Um,
And I know
you know,
you're helping others too. So um I definitely want my channel to be like a safe haven, a beacon of hope to people because sometimes we don't have anyone to talk to. Sometimes, I mean, we don't have, there might not be a family member, there might not be a friend, there might not, a lot of us, and I'm just being real, um, don't want to do therapy. We just don't want to talk to anybody because we've been so let down and there's so much distrust.
also, I feel like there's so much conditioning. Like, even now
Mhm.
doing this interview, I hear like the echoes of people who have said, "Oh, you're disrespecting your family. You're horrible. How could you say that?" And when it's just facts, like, I know that it's like, would I want somebody to talk badly about me? No. No, I know that's why this is so hard because, like, not everybody is an innocent person, but I think there's, you draw the line between abuse and somebody just talking, crap about you. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like
Yeah, yeah,
there is, like, this affected me my entire life. This changed my entire life. I'm being blamed for who I married, who I had kids with. And I think when you go into that and you say, you know, you blame you're blaming your family member. You're blaming that person for who they chose and what they did, but then you don't want to hear why and what happened and what went on behind that. And I think that they don't want to face that. I faced it. I've
hmm
had to face it alone because they've they've harmed me even more by really just dismissing everything and saying that I'm just disrespectful. That's what this all comes down to. But I don't feel like I'm disrespecting anyone. And by talking about how it all correlates, and that's the reason why
yeah,
I was drawn to my ex-husband. So,
yeah.
you know,
So, the trauma bond, do you feel like you had a trauma bond with your ex-husband and a trauma bond like from childhood, like with your mom and dad?
I
And do
did
you think
figure
that play a role?
I did figure that out, that it was my mother first and then my ex-husband. And it's like, just, naming it is one thing, and then really diving deep and understanding isn't a whole other. It's one thing to name it and be like, yeah, you know what, that was a trauma bond. But then it's like you go deep into that whole thing and how that that is like just not a name. Like, there's so many parts, there's so many layers to this that I am still, after years of going in, I'm still figuring out
Yeah.
new like information about how that points to that and how that went to that. And if that had never
Can
happened,
relate. It's like an unraveling, you know. I get it.
there's still so much. And I'm like, oh my God, when am I going to be done? You
Yeah,
know?
man, you're preaching to the choir. I get it. I'm right there with you. So I understand. That's interesting. And I know, as we talk about this, I feel like it's important to shed light on there's a lot of abuse going on in families. A lot of people think your family, that's your family, they're everything, you know. Um, nothing can come between blood, but I mean, I feel like it all starts in the family, short of you being a perfect one, which is rare, probably not, there's probably not one in the universe of a perfect family, but that's where it like starts, you know what I mean? And people realize like it might not start off like chaotic and violent, but that underlying what's the sinister stuff that has a smile on it,
Hmm.
people, it I have to shed light on that because I feel like the family is the topic that people brush aside and discount. It's the people either think it's like out there in left field somewhere, it's not your family, but it could be potentially, and it could
Well,
correlate with other areas in your life.
well, that's what happened. Like with my ex-husband, his family is enabling, and they
Mhm.
like to say they enabled me. I don't know how they've enabled me when, they've said that when I've needed help after what happened to him, and I'm not going to get into what happened to him
Yeah.
right now, but that, they were enabling me to help me take care of my children. No, they were not enabling me to, they look at it like it's enabling to help. Um, but they were really enabling him to be who he was. And who
Mhm.
he wasn't something that they should be proud of. So, and I know that's like a whole other subject, but it's
Yeah.
like
I
who
mean,
is
it all ties
behind,
together. So yeah.
yeah, who's behind the man, who funded the man, who did that, It
Yeah.
wasn't just him, it wasn't just him like when he would leave, he would leave and come back and leave and come back. And I was, really a single mom the whole time, but really, but like I had financial support back then, which was obviously very helpful, but
Yeah.
um it wasn't, it was push and pull, push and pull. So it wasn't always there. Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't.
Yeah.
And who do you think was behind all of that? That was his family behind that. So domestic violence, financial abuse, there's a family most likely behind that. You know,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
he
man.
wouldn't think it was okay. Like you have to think about it. Like he wouldn't think it's okay to do that if his family was telling him, don't do that. He was getting instructions from his family, not his whole family. There's this, somebody specific that he was getting instructions from to withhold money. Don't let her, don't let her think she's going to live there. Don't let her think she's going to be able to just go buy food when she wants, you know, that type of thing.
Wow. Wow. That is very deep. I feel like I can relate a little bit with the enabling from the parents with my ex. Like it's crazy, like just listening to your story and how I'm just like processing of like how my life was, the married life, and how that all plays. Wow, wow. And so I know we're gonna have to get ready to wrap this up here in a minute, but um, do you feel like there were similarities and or differences with your ex and with your parents as far as just like domestic violence, from your childhood and then domestic violence in your marriage? Do you feel like your mom had similarities to your ex-husband or vice versa?
So
Makes
my
sense.
mother was very, she was a little bit different, but I feel like my ex-husband wasn't very verbally abusive. I feel like he was more physically, but also like very manipulative, but he wouldn't call me names. He didn't like, he never like, he mocked me a lot. Like he would do like, like making fun of me. I feel like, um, he was just more physical, more gaslighting, more very manipulative. He was a big liar. Um, and my mother was very verbally, mentally, and emotionally abusive. Like, so it did differ. Like my ex-husband would never say something to me that was like her, you know. But I
Wow.
guess there were similarities. Like it's a lot. I'm trying to think. I'm just my head's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
like
like
yeah, I understand.
he just was more physical, but also psychological, but just not the name calling. So
Right.
yeah.
Wow. Hmm. I tell you, I'm gonna go ahead and end on this note, but do you believe that people who have abusive childhoods attract partners that are potentially or are violent in
A
that
100%.
regard? Do you think there are any, I don't know if the word is, I don't want to say excuses, but like, do you think like everybody, like 100%, or do you think that there are some instances where that doesn't have to
I
be?
mean, it might not happen. I can only go by my own experience.
Yeah.
I know that like it was very traumatic growing up, that there was no other way for me to go. Like I was meeting a sociopath or nothing. Like it was literally like that's what was gonna, like now that I've done the work, I could see that there was no way I was not gonna meet somebody who didn't have a personality disorder or some kind of problem. Because I
Mm,
didn't know what healthy love looked like. I didn't know. I didn't know there was a toxic love or a healthy love. I didn't know all those terms. I didn't know anything, but looking back, I saw what I chose because of how I grew up. So I don't know for other people.
yeah.
They might go the other way. They might learn before they meet somebody. They might have an education behind like what happened, or maybe they even went to therapy when they were younger. But when I was younger, I didn't go to therapy. I had no idea what was going on with me. I didn't think anything was wrong. But turns out there was a lot going on, that drove all my decisions. So it does matter. Like if you come from an abusive childhood and then, in your young adulthood, you go and go to therapy, you work it all out, you realize that's before you meet your person. But I went straight from one abusive home to the next abusive home, in him. So
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think about as you say that, like pain, and then it was like, you transition to a different kind of pain.
mhm.
And I mean, I can relate in that regard because I feel like even though my childhood, it's like a blur. It seemed fine, but when
Yeah, I mean,
when you're
the
younger,
thing is,
you
it's
know,
not all bad. You
yeah.
know, I had my basic needs met. I, I had good things going on.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I was being beaten. I
Yeah.
was being thrown at. I was being cursed at. I was I was hiding. I was bracing for life. Like I was hiding in the closet, waiting. Like I would sit there. I remember that one specific, moment, and I'm just like shaking, waiting for it to happen, waiting. I could still feel it. I'm 42. I could still feel it to this day. Like just talking about it brings me my whole body back to that time where I frozen in fear. I didn't even run. I just sat there and I waited for that to happen. And I think about that moment and how it does affect a lot of things I do today and how I freeze up and how people are like, why aren't you doing anything? Why are you doing anything? I'm like, I'm doing what I can do. This is all I can do. And there are moments when you freeze,
Yeah.
and it just, and it shoots your brain right back to the first memory of when you were frozen. There's like so much.
Yeah, it is. It is so much. Wow. Very powerful story that you shared. And I know we're definitely going to have to do a part two because we've only touched the surface, but I appreciate you sharing all of that and doing this interview with me because I definitely just I want the truth to be heard. I want survivors to know that they have a voice and they can speak. I want them to know that they are safe when they speak, as much as I can do my part with. I know, you know, this world, it's just so much toxicity most times, and, we're not believed, and, you get all the negative things. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to do my part here on this channel, and I appreciate you sharing all of that. Um, for people who want to connect with you and to find you on social media so they can, continue listening to what you have to say, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at When Love Is a Lie. I also have Facebook, and I have a TikTok. I don't really post on there, but I'm hoping to start making videos and becoming less shy, and just maybe you'll see me on TikTok.
Okay, cool. That'll be nice. I tell you, all these
Yeah,
social platforms, they definitely are outlets, even though it comes sometimes to the negative side, they are outlets and ways that we're able to connect and translate, all of who we are. So that's awesome. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Stacy, for speaking today. And you guys will have to stay tuned because there's going to be more from Stacy. This won't be the last time that you see us talking because I really want to dive in more and just talk about other topics that are dear to my heart and that might be sensitive, but you guys know I keep it real on my channel. That's what I'm all about, to uncover the truth. And so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss out on everything that I am doing. You guys know you can connect with me on Instagram at Mom with a Unique Voice. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on The Encouragement Kit.